But how do I know what it is about? And how do I know if I want to do this? मुझ में information कहाँ से लाऊं? Well, everything is available as far as information is concerned, but here we bring it in a packaged format from someone who has done it, right? So that is exactly what we are going to do. And hence you can select, after going through the entire series, you can decide on the career path that you want to embark on. So all these career options that we've chosen uh, are the hot ones, right? So for example, today we are going to talk about e-commerce at length. So first off, we will try to understand in this session. It's going to be a 45-minute session, might extend a little bit. But what we are going to do here is we are going to first understand the option thoroughly. We're going to understand the field, the career, the area, of e-commerce, the arena of e-commerce deeply from the expert. And then we will go into understanding what are the different roles available, and how do we get into what is the right fit for you if you want to be a part of that particular career option, let's say e-commerce for now. So that's what we are going to do. And then we'll come up with a question at the end, right, which is a very apt question, that if we have to do an MBA, or we want to do an MBA, or is MBA really relevant or useful, a management education, is it really useful? So that is all we are going to discuss. uh, so let's kick off with today's session. Today's session, the topic is e-commerce, a gateway to the digital economy. So we have moved to become a digital economy, right? All the payments are digital these days. Almost all the payments that I do are digital. I don't carry cash anymore. It's been 3 years since I carried cash in my pocket, right? Everything I purchase, I gained 6 no, kgs since e-commerce came in, just because I don't go out to buy every small thing that I need. I can just buy it, right? So the scenario has changed in just 5 7 years, right? I remember 10 years back I used to take this session where I used to do flip case studies of Flipkart and other things, and we used to discuss how cash on delivery was a problem, something that worked on cash on delivery was a solution to a problem, that people did not want to do payments online. We have come a long way from there in just 10 years, right? I'm sure the guest will talk more about it. So without wasting any more time, right, let me introduce today's guest. Today we have a visionary startup founder, Mr. Rohit Agarwal, right? Rohit Agarwal and his wife Radhika, right? Both of them are the founders of the startup called Urban Space, which is an e-commerce platform, which is a company. I will leave it to Rohit, on Rohit to explain further, but I'll quickly introduce that. So Urban Space को introduce करने से पहले let us have Rohit on the screen, right? So Rohit, please join us. A very good evening, Rohit, and thanks a lot
Hi.
for joining. I think there is some internet issue at my
Good evening,
end.
Sazil. Good evening, friends.
Good evening, Rohit.
Is it clear?
And yeah. Now I can hear you. Yes. So, a very good
Okay.
evening again,
So, good
and
evening, all the
welcome.
friends who have joined us.
I think
I
we are
guess there is some
overlapping. I'm so
lag.
sorry. Yeah. Please go on.
Yes. Let me toggle the connection once.
Sure.
Hi.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, great. So, good evening, Sazil. Thank you for this opportunity to you and Career Launcher. And good evening, all the friends who have joined us. Welcome you all. Uh, I will try my best to give some information about e-commerce and digital commerce, and we will be open for questions in the end, right? Okay, so Sazil, should we start?
I would like to now that you are here, I would like to now give a slight detailed introduction that I know what I know about you. Right. So
Sure.
Rohit has, very interestingly held a belief that everyone deserves a beautiful home. So that is what I think Urban Space is working towards, right? Irrespective of the location, the type of house you're living in, the size of the house you're living in, you deserve a beautiful house. So what I think you work on, for example, the curtains in my house are urban space, by the way, Rohit. So that's just a coincidence. Yeah.
Good
So
to know.
yeah, so urban space in that sense has made a mark in the domestic circuit, right? And being known for most unique designs of carpets and curtains and bed sheets and a lot of home design, right? So that is what we deal with. So and urban space is not only selling on its own e-commerce platform, but also present hugely on Amazon, Flipkart, Nykaa, and Mintra and Ajio and so on. Am I right, Rohit?
Yes, yes, almost all the marketplaces.
And one interesting fact before we start off is that Rohit and Radhika have figured on Shark Tank, right, this year, I think 2024, season 3, right? And they had two offers and they rejected the offers. Uh, what I understand is already urban space is huge and they are profitable. I think they did not really need the kind of funding that these guys are providing. So I think you are the better person to tell us. So tell us about the Shark Tank story in a short, and then we'll move on.
Sure. Thank you, Cecil. First of all, for the introduction. Shark Tank, any platform which lets you speak about your journey is always a very special platform, especially for people who would have worked hard and reached to a particular stage. Now, where you have reached does not matter, but for you, it is important, right? For someone else, it might be a smaller milestone. For some, it would be a very big milestone. So, Shark Tank, yes, a good milestone for us. It's a recognition of what we have built in last 6 years. Coming to experience, a very good, smooth experience, uh, where they talk about your business, they talk about your journey, they assess in a very short period of time, let's say in an hour, whether your business is investable or not. And based on that, they take a call. Now, generally, funding decision takes at least 5 to 6 months, and I guess 15 to 20 meetings between investors and founders or more. So this decision is taken by them live in an hour. So yes, we are proud and happy that we could get two offers. Fortunately or unfortunately, time will tell. We had to decline the offer at that time. Uh, that's about it. And after that, we have got more love from our community, from our customers. Customers feel proud who have been buying from us that their brand have featured on a national television. So overall, a very satisfying journey, I would say.
Wonderful. So it makes us proud to have you here also. And for the
Thank you so
students'
much.
benefit, let me also add that Rohit Agarwal is from MDI Gurgaon, right? So he's an alumnus of MDI Gurgaon. Am I right, Rohit? Yeah.
Yes, 2012 pass out.
Right. So now you get a lot of people who connect with you because you are an MBA, and most of our students who are watching this are MBA aspirants. So, all right. So let me straight away take you from your personal journey to a very impersonal question to start this discussion. The first question is absolutely impersonal, a very basic, that how would you define e-commerce as a business, as a sector? So let's start the discussion with this question.
In a very layman terms, any sort of transaction happening virtually or on internet, whether it is mobile, desktop, any digital medium, it is e-commerce, right? Uh, any transaction, whether you are paying 10 rupees to play a rummy game, uh, or you are Swiggying or Zomato food, that is e-commerce. You're buying something from Flipkart, Amazon, Mintra, that is e-commerce. You are buying a movie ticket on Book My Show, that is e-commerce. You are buying a flight ticket, that is e-commerce. So much so that if you are paying for, let's say, a stand-up comedy show online, YouTube, when you subscribe to a stand-up comedian and you pay a 99 rupees fees, that is essentially also an e-commerce, right? It is not only selling products, but anything that is being transacted online.
Right. All right. Great. So, okay. So most of us had an idea about what it is. So I think this matches what we understand. But also now with live examples, if we are able to say this, that how does e-commerce really impact our daily lives, and we don't even realize it. So could you give some cases or case studies of that sort?
Uh, well, yes. So first, if we talk about any organization or any brand currently in the market, uh, they are into e-commerce, right? If you talk about the big MNCs, so if you take HUL or PNG, they are into e-commerce. They are selling their products to you on Flipkart, Amazon, or on Q-commerce like Zepto, Blinkit, Zomato. If you talk about big national brands, right? Legacy brands of India, Bata or VIP, they are online. You talk about new age brands. So, since the audience is a very young audience, they would have heard about Bewakoof or Chumbak kind of brands. They are very serious online. 5 years back or 4 years back, they were not very serious online, but now they are. Uh, then there are digital first brands like Boat or Mama Earth or Urban Space for that matter of fact. Uh, to the extent that even the traditional Lala businesses, jewelry business, real estate business, they all have shifted their focus to e-commerce. So a lot of jewelry is being sold online. In real estate, you are being shown advertisement on social media. You are being told to fill up a form for visiting, and then you visit a property, right? So
Right.
every business is trying to have their presence online. So when everyone is trying, that means the consumer is consuming. There is a demand from the other side, and so it
Mm,
becomes important for every one of us to uh, really assess and gauge the importance of e-commerce in the current time and in the upcoming times, right? If I talk students who are here, you would not realize, but let's say if your dad is into some trading business and buying some goods, B2B goods from someone by seeing the catalog on WhatsApp or on Facebook and probably paying through UPI. That is digital commerce or e-commerce essentially. You would have
absolutely.
ordered something, it gets delivered to your doorstep, and your mother pays the delivery guy by a QR code or a UPI. That's again a digital commerce. So, knowingly or unknowingly, even our parents who would be at the age of 70, and we think that they are not into this digital commerce, but they are. Even your vegetable vendors who are taking payments through UPI. So everyone right now is into digital commerce in some way or the other.
Absolutely. In fact, just to add, my mother, who's 65, just joined Blinkit because now she finds it very difficult to go out to the market to buy things or ask my dad
Yes,
to do it. So, so that's
yes,
that's the way the world is moving. Yeah, not just the youngsters. Um, in fact, Rohit, just to add to what you were saying, at our time when we were doing our MBA, we used to go to three different, coaching centers, including Career Launcher, to check कि counselor क्या बोलता है, and then we now I've seen that those visits have reduced. Students just check online. It is just
yes,
Google that they do, and most of them purchase online. Most of them just purchase online. They don't go to a center and buy, and that's the nature of the business. It has changed. There are both kinds of buyers, consumers out there, but we no
yes,
business can, like you rightly said, can no avoid not being online. You have to be
yes,
online, right?
yes.
So but one interesting thing, I'm just digressing from the discussion we're doing with a question. You use two words. One is e-commerce and digital commerce. What is the difference between two, as an absolute person who doesn't know e-commerce?
So industry have divided digital commerce into, let's say, smaller parts. E-commerce is basically your Flipkarts, Mintras, Amazons. That is e-commerce when you are selling some product, basically, essentially. Then there is a Q-commerce, which is quick commerce, which is Zepto,
Okay.
Blinkit, Swiggy, Instamart, right? Then there is a digital marketing which supports both of this. So that is also a part of digital commerce. Instagram is a part of digital commerce. So
Correct.
And as you said, that people get a lot of information about products or services on online. So that is digital information. They might choose to buy in the stores, right? But even if you buy in the offline store, you have been a part of digital commerce because you came across the information about the product online, right? So probably today you might go to the store and buy, but your next purchase might be online, right? So you are already in the funnel of digital commerce. So
Mhm.
essentially anything and everything that you are consuming on your mobiles, laptops, tablets, that is a part of digital commerce. Every game, every content, your OTT is digital commerce.
Right. Okay, cool. So that makes a lot of sense. Now, I would love if you could just give us some quantification of, the size of e-commerce in India, the business in India. So,
Definitely.
or the potential maybe, so the current situation and the future situation, if you could just give us some idea about it.
Sure. So, as we might know that we have 1.5 billion population and current GDP uh, is 2000 US dollars for India. So basically we are a $3 trillion economy, right? That is a common fact,
Yeah. Right.
right? Now, currently that is for the students 3000 US billion dollars, right? 3 trillion. Uh, Currently the size of e-commerce is just 100 USD, 100 billion USD. So
Mhm.
that is 3 to 4% of the entire GDP is contributed by e-commerce. Now, we might feel कि सब कुछ ऑनलाइन शिफ्ट हो गया है, सब कुछ ऑनलाइन हो रहा है, बट फिर भी 3 से 4% ही कंट्रीब्यूट हो रहा है, ठीक है? In developed countries like Europe and US, this contribution of e-commerce or digital commerce to the GDP is at least 25 to 30%, right?
Okay.
So by 2030, India's e-commerce or digital commerce total top line or the revenue is expected to go as much high as to 400 billion US dollars. So that is 4x from today. In 6 years, the industry will be four times. Now, this is a very rapid growth. No industry sees
Mhm.
more than 10 to 15% yearly CAGR growth, right? Here we are talking about accelerated growth of the industry. So that's the size of the market and that's the potential. And still, that 400 would also not be more than 5-6% of India's economy. So total headroom is going up to 25 to 30%. So जब तक हम 1000-1200 करोड़ ई कॉमर्स से नहीं करते हैं तब तक ये इंडस्ट्री इसी पेस पे ग्रो करेगी.
Okay. Great. So I think that's a huge potential out there. So in terms
Yes.
of industry, अगर कुछ grow होने वाला है, generally what happens is, और मैं पिछले around 20 years I've been observing, since I started understanding things, और हम तो देखते हैं कि नए नए फ्यूचर जॉब क्रिएशन, अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएशन, entrepreneurship opportunities जब होती हैं, right? So I've seen that generally it takes a 20-25 year horizon after which things sort of change in a big way, right? So I think यहाँ से 20-25 years तो कम से कम e-commerce is going to be into a booming, rate of growth. What do you say about that?
Yes.
In for those people, so generally my listeners here, or viewers here, are those people who are getting into the industry now. So quick message for them, if you want to, about e-commerce specifically.
Uh, well, guys, if you are serious about e-commerce, if you like e-commerce in some way or the other, and I'm sure everyone uses e-commerce, then this is an industry where you will not see a degrowth as an industry per se, at least for next 10-15 years, I believe, or more, right? Then the growth percentage every year will decrease, but still it will grow. The potential, the growth is great. The opportunities available are humongous. क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री ही नया है, सब लोग फिगर आउट कर रहे हैं कि करना क्या है. ठीक है। रोज कोई नया प्रोजेक्ट हर कंपनी में रोल आउट होता है, ई कॉमर्स कंपनी में, कि ये कर सकते हैं। सो सब लोग फिगर आउट कर रहे हैं, और ये ग्रोथ लाने के लिए दे नीड प्रोफेशनल्स, राइट। प्लस क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री नई है, तो इंडस्ट्री में कोई ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है कि जो अपने आप को बोल सके मैं ई कॉमर्स का एक्सपर्ट हूँ 20 साल। लाइक सेल्स एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, वी विल फाइंड वेटरन्स जिन्होंने 30-30 साल सेल्स एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन किया है, ब्रांड मार्केटिंग किया है, फिनेंस किया है। बट ई कॉमर्स में कोई होगा ही नहीं जिसका 10 साल से ज्यादा का एक्सपीरियंस होगा या 12 साल से ज्यादा का एक्सपीरियंस होगा,
सो ट्रू,
राइट।
सो ट्रू।
सो अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत है, इफ यू गो विद द राइट इंटेंट, if you go with the right attitude, there are a lot of opportunities in e-commerce.
ग्रेट। ओके, सो यहाँ पे मोस्ट रेलेवेंट क्वेश्चन हम ऑलरेडी पहुंच गए हैं, जो मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ही था कि स्टूडेंट्स का यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन है कि हमारे क्या फायदा है, राइट। सो व्हाट आर द करंट ट्रेंड्स एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज दैट यू सी in terms of business, in terms of jobs, in terms of roles and role growth in the coming time, right, in e-commerce sector. So generally,
Right.
now coming with a perspective of the students or the
Sure.
aspirants, generally, so what do they look at now? What is the growth prospect that they have?
Right. So I will quickly touch upon the kind of roles we are looking at, right? So when we talk about opportunities, काफी लोगों को लगता होगा ई कॉमर्स उनके लिए है जो एमबीए में शायद मार्केटिंग सिलेक्ट करेंगे, राइट, क्योंकि इट इज ऑल अबाउट डिजिटल मार्केटिंग। बट नो, इट इज नॉट। The opportunities in this field is across the value chain. It starts from research, what product, right? Uh, it start then the stage is product development. So someone who has a bent for design or project management, that comes into picture, right? Uh, then there is consumer research और consumer behavior research कि मेरा प्रोडक्ट कौन से कंज्यूमर के लिए फिट है, किस प्राइसिंग पे फिट है। सो 4 P's ऑफ मार्केटिंग बेसिकली, कि किस कौन सा प्रोडक्ट कौन सी प्राइस पे, कौन सी पैकेजिंग में और कौन सी चैनल के लिए फिट है, राइट।
Right,
यू नीड गुड हैंग ऑफ फिनेंस, क्योंकि फिनेंस थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होता है ई कॉमर्स में। स्टॉक जाता है, कस्टमर रिटर्न करता है, जाने के भी चार्जेस हैं, आने के भी चार्जेस हैं। So there is a complication. So finance people also are in great demand who can understand e-commerce finance. And lastly, operations, right?
supply
Operation
chain,
is, yeah, supply chain and operation.
warehousing, all of that.
Yes, yes. So supply chain and operation is the backbone of any business, whether it is a car manufacturing, whether it is a soap manufacturing, or it is an e-commerce. So एक तो यहाँ पे सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है कस्टमर तक प्रोडक्ट जल्दी पहुंचाना है। तो सप्लाई चेन की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी और बढ़ जाती है कि कहाँ पे स्टोर करें, कैसे स्टोर करें, कब इसको पिकअप करवाएं, कब डिलीवर करवाएं। सो द सप्लाई चेन एंड ऑपरेशन इज द वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट चैलेंजेस ऑफ ई कॉमर्स और क्विक कॉमर्स। हमको लगता है कि यार ये 10 मिनट में हमारे घर पे आ जाता है, बट उसके पीछे जो एफर्ट जाता है, that is unbelievable effort to make some product reach you in 10 minutes, because आप नीचे जाके कहीं से कुछ लेने जाओगे तो 10 मिनट में वापस नहीं आओगे,
True,
बट
very
कोई
true,
बंदा
very true.
वेयर हाउस से पिक करके आपके घर तक 10 मिनट में आ रहा है, राइट। सो opportunities, and then comes the marketing, of course. Digital marketing, brand marketing. Now the brands are created online. Boat, Mama Earth, Urban Space, we do not have any presence offline, right? So
Right.
digital marketing or brand building, everything is happening online for us. So marketing folks or marketing careers are also abundant in e-commerce and at various levels, right from let's say social media executive who can post stories on Instagram, say like someone who can strategize how the brand will be built, right? So the opportunities are humongous. The latest trends, if we talk about in this industry, then there is augmented reality. ठीक है। आज भी हम लोगों का होता है कि ये प्रोडक्ट जब तक मैं टच नहीं करूंगा मुझे नहीं पता चलेगा। सो
बिल्कुल।
इन couple of years, augmented reality will be a norm where you will be able to experience products from your phone or laptops. Right? Uh,
So that
AI.
was going to be my question. Are you looking at going? Sorry to digress. We'll come back to your question answer in AI, right? But
Hmm.
do you see yourself going to virtual reality or augmented reality or something of that sort
Oh, of course.
soon?
Probably by April 2025, our website will be completely on AR, where a customer will be able to see our curtains placed in their homes, right? So they
Right.
can view the product in their room, how it will look, uh, if the color combination is right or not. They will be able to mix and match the curtains. Same with the carpets, कि carpet का size correct है कि नहीं, मेरे बाकी के furniture के साथ complement हो रहा है कि नहीं. So we are working towards it, and probably
Yeah,
in
very
4 or 5
exciting.
months that will be launched. Yes.
Oh, very exciting. Cool. Sorry, continue. You were saying.
Yes, so the upcoming trends is, yes, augmented reality, AI. हमको लग रहा है AI आ चुका है, but what we are seeing in AI is probably 5% of its potential.
Mhm.
We are just using it for making some videos or some images, but धीरे धीरे AI will do lot more for every one of us, even in normal life, for a consumer also and for businesses also, right? uh, the marketing automation will come. Abhi, our team takes the pain of looking at so many variables and then deciding कि कहाँ पे कितना budget लगाना है. In future we will see, आप सिर्फ budget fix कर दो कि मेरे को एक दिन में 1 करोड़ रुपए spend करना है. मेरा ये प्रोडक्ट है, एवरीथिंग विल बी ऑटोमेटेड, कि कौन से ऑडियंस को टैप करना है, कब दिखाना है, कौन से प्लेटफॉर्म पे
Right.
दिखाना है, ओटीटी पे दिखाना है, किस पे दिखाना है. So these automations will come, right? Your big data and machine learning, which is already being used for bigger industries, they will become a very common thing. Like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth is a very common thing. Similarly, machine learning, complex AI being used will become very common in years to come. So these are the upcoming trends and technologies which e-commerce will adopt first and fast, because the business is everything digital. So we need technologies which can decrease the workload, right?
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So as a student of management myself, from one to another, which is an interesting management problem that you faced in the recent past. A quick, it's a quick ball to you.
Ah, you got me thinking, because
Something
every day
interesting.
there are a lot of problems we face.
Something that might excite a viewer.
Yes, completely. So again, I will come to supply chain. We recently have started our business on Q-commerce. So we are now
Okay.
live on Zepto and Blinkit, and will be live on Swiggy Instamart in couple of months. Now,
Right.
एज आई वाज सेइंग कि आपके घर में 10 मिनट में प्रोडक्ट आ रहा है, तो पीछे बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स ऑपरेशंस चलते हैं. अब अभी तक जो हमने 5-6 साल में बिजनेस किया है, अ, हमारा कोई भी पीओ फुलफिल करने का टाइम थोड़ा सा लॉन्गर है, क्योंकि हम
Right.
मैन्युफैक्चरर भी हैं, राइट? तो जब हमारे पास कोई बल्क रिक्वायरमेंट आती है अमेजोन से या मिंत्रा से, तो एक बड़ा परचेज ऑर्डर आता है, 4,000 क्वांटिटी, 10,000 क्वांटिटी, 15,000 क्वांटिटी. हमारा प्रोडक्शन यूनिट उसे बनाता है, फिर हम डिस्पैच करते हैं. तो पीओ आने से वेयरहाउस हिट करने तक हमारे पास 1 महीने का टैट होता है. ठीक है? तो
Right.
अब सालों से हमारा प्रोडक्शन सिस्टम या मेंटालिटी ये इसी टाइमलाइन पे काम कर रहा है. अब जब हम
Correct.
जेप्टो और ब्लिंकिट में आए, एक तो उनके पीओज रोज आते हैं, और द क्वांटिटी वुड बी 100 पीस का क्वांटिटी, 150,
Small quantity.
40,
Yeah.
क्योंकि जो बिका उसके अगेंस्ट में वो लोग फोरकास्ट करके आपको पीओ देते हैं, राइट? सो एट एनी
Right.
पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम वी वुड हैव 200 ओपन पीओस फॉर जेप्टोज एंड ब्लिंकिट, बट एवरीथिंग ऑफ स्मॉलर क्वांटिटी. और उनका टैट भी सिर्फ 15 दिन है, कि पीओ आने से 15 दिन में उनके वेयरहाउस में स्टॉक पहुंच जाना चाहिए. अब
Right.
पूरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का माइंडसेट ही नहीं है. एक तो छोटे पीओ हैंडल करने का माइंडसेट नहीं है, दूसरा इतना जल्दी चर्न आउट करने का माइंडसेट नहीं है. सो इट इज अ वेरी बिग चैलेंज फॉर अर्बन स्पेस ऑल्सो टू सॉल्व, कि हम ये क्विक कॉमर्स में कैसे अडेप्ट करेंगे, राइट? सो
Makes sense.
इट्स एन
Wow.
इंटरेस्टिंग प्रॉब्लम फॉर अस, अ वेरी बिग चैलेंज, बट we will definitely overcome it in a couple of months.
Great. I hope you do, and all the best for the
Yes,
new
thank you.
new arena that you are entering in. So, a couple of questions from students that have come in. I'll just read it out to you, Rohit. What kind of
Yes.
internships or projects should I look for during my MBA, or even before, for that matter? Right, when a student is doing a graduation or his MBA, to get a feel of e-commerce. How does one get
Uh,
into it?
right.
So let's say someone
So,
wants to try for urban space only.
yeah. Well, we have a lot of internships open. So if anyone wants to apply, I would be glad. Uh, but jokes apart, see, internship, as I said, there are 4 to 5 major areas, right? We have marketing, we have finance, we have operations, and we have sales, right? ऑपरेशंस में सप्लाई चेन भी आ गया, प्रोडक्शन भी आ गया, लॉजिस्टिक्स भी आ गया, ठीक है? तो कोई
Right.
भी बिजनेस के मोटा मोटी 4 पिलर्स होते हैं: सेल्स, मार्केटिंग, फाइनेंस एंड योर से ऑपरेशंस,
Ops. Yes.
राइट? सो जहां पे भी आपका इंक्लिनेशन है, कोई भी आपने जो सोच रखा हो कि मैं इसमें मास्टर्स करने वाला हूँ, ठीक है? लेट्स से मार्केटिंग, आप मार्केटिंग में मास्टर्स करने वाले हो, सेकेंड ईयर ऑफ एमबीए। सो द इंटर्नशिप्स यू कैन लुक फॉर इज सोशल मीडिया इंटर्नशिप्स, right? Content creation internship. You can look at digital marketing. So performance marketing भी होता है, ठीक है? कि मुझे कस्टमर को एक्वायर करना है, मेरी वेबसाइट पे लैंड करवाना है और परचेज करवाना है, सो दैट इज परफॉर्मेंस मार्केटिंग, राइट? Then there can be a brand building internships where you are helping brand managers or brand head टू डेवलप स्ट्रैटेजीज कि हम कहाँ
Mm.
से कैसे ब्रांड को कस्टमर तक पहुंचाएंगे. सो लॉट ऑफ इंटर्नशिप्स इन मार्केटिंग, सिमिलरली इन सेल्स इफ यू आर लुकिंग एट, right, in e-commerce. You can get an internship into sales where you are looking for one particular channel. Let's say for urban space, we are
Right.
onboarded on 10 to 12 different channels, जहाँ पे टाटा क्लिक भी है, पेपर फ्राई भी है, नाइका भी है. तो उसके बहुत सारे डेली ऑपरेशंस होते हैं, सेल्स ऑपरेशंस होते हैं. तो you can get an internship into that. Supply chain logistics, you understand warehouse, production, everything like inventory forecasting, analysis, and then is your finance. So if you're inclined towards finance, you can get internships in that also, right? So understanding the P&L of one portal and then making P&Ls of the brand, understanding cash flows, क्योंकि
Right.
ई कॉमर्स में हमें लगता है कि माल आज बिका कल पैसा आ गया, बट बहुत सारी इन्वेंट्री वेयरहाउस और ट्रांजिट में स्टक रहती है. सो कैलकुलेटिंग द कैश फ्लोज इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो लॉट ऑफ
Right.
इंटर्नशिप
Right.
ऑप्शंस.
Okay, great. So that should help. You said that a student should figure out कि क्या करना चाहिए, मतलब marketing में करना है, finance में करना है. But I find that every year in my business we find students who are not sure कि मुझे marketing में जाना है. Let's say someone in MBA might still be in a better place, but someone who's not yet in a B school and who's
Yeah.
aspiring to be there and wants to try out an internship before and doesn't know whether he wants to take a marketing or finance or HR or operations or whatever,
Yes.
right? So how does that person decide? What do you suggest as the person sitting on the other side of the table? What would you suggest to him?
वेल यू कैन अप्लाई फॉर लेट्स से फाउंडर्स ऑफिस. पहले के
Okay,
जमाने में ईए करके प्रोफाइल है, जो अभी लोगों ने फैंसी बना दिया और उसको फाउंडर्स ऑफिस बोलते हैं.
founders office, CEO's office, president's office. Yeah,
यस,
correct.
राइट. Now, that's a great profile to start your career, whether you are trying to do an internship or your first
Right.
job. And if you're passionate about startups, because founders office का कोई फिक्स प्रोफाइल नहीं है, कोई फिक्स कैटेगरी नहीं है. You work along with the top management to drive lot of projects. So those projects can be marketing. Let's say मेरे को बैंगलोर के कोई एरिया के न्यूज़पेपर में इंसर्ट डलवाना है, तो भी फाउंडर ऑफिस का बंदा कोऑर्डिनेट कर रहा है. मेरे को
Mhm.
मेरे वेयरहाउस में कोई टेक लगाना है, तो भी फाउंडर्स ऑफिस का बंदा काम कर रहा है.
You get to
ठीक
work
है,
across functions
अक्रॉस फंक्शन. सो
and on
टू
projects.
यस, यस. सो founder's office kind of a role is a perfect way to start. Otherwise, what we have is general management. Generally, companies hire is general management कि आपको हर एक फील्ड में थोड़ा थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस देते हैं, so that at the end of the internship you know what you like.
Okay, so I think we've answered the second question. I'll read out the second question that came to us. How do I know if e-commerce is the right career for me, especially if I'm unsure about the specialization to choose? How do you know? So one is you try out an internship or you do a
Yes.
job and you figure it out, right? Is there any other way, Rohit,
Yes.
to figure out?
ई कॉमर्स क्योंकि आप कस्टमर के सामने नहीं हो एज अ ब्रांड, ठीक है, एवरीथिंग इज वर्चुअल, बट स्टिल द बेसिक्स ऑफ बिजनेस रिमेन्स द सेम. बट यहाँ पे
Right.
अंडरस्टैंडिंग कंज्यूमर बिहेवियर एंड साइकोलॉजी is very very critical. So if you are
Mm.
passionate about being social, being knowing how a person makes a decision, right, वो कहाँ से क्यों लेगा, क्या देख के उसका इंक्लिनेशन बढ़ेगा, ठीक है, सो दैट इज अ ग्रेट मार्कर दैट यू विल डू गुड इन ई कॉमर्स, ठीक है, बिकॉज ई कॉमर्स चाहे आप कोई भी
Okay.
फील्ड में हो, इट इज अबाउट कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन. क्योंकि आप मुंह से बोल के कुछ नहीं कर सकते, आपके पास कुछ टच पॉइंट्स होते हैं. पहला होता है आपका प्रोडक्ट कैसा दिखेगा स्क्रीन पे, फिर होता है आप कितने टाइम में डिलीवर करोगे, फिर होता है आपकी पैकेजिंग, और फिर होता है आफ्टर सेल सर्विस और कंज्यूमर सपोर्ट.
True.
इफ यू
Yeah.
आर नॉट पैशनेट अबाउट कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन और एक्सपीरियंस, यू विल नॉट ट्रूली एंजॉय ई कॉमर्स. बिकॉज अगर आपको ई कॉमर्स में रियली समथिंग यू ग्रेट यू हैव टू बिल्ड, you have to be passionate about customers. So that is one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, that discussion that I have with the team internally in my business is customer satisfaction is the absolute basic.
Yes.
The people go, companies and businesses go to a great length to delight the customer in their own way.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, customer satisfaction is absolute basic. So you're right. Uh, so understanding the customer is the base. Is where you
Yes.
should start with. Great, awesome.
And second is,
Fine.
I would say
So
analysis. I'm sorry.
yeah, please, please.
Yeah. Second is you should have an analytical mindset, right? Because there would be a lot of data. ठीक है, you're doing business online, so a lot of data कि कौन से पिन कोड से क्या बिक रहा है, क्या नहीं बिक रहा है, कौन सा कलर बिक रहा है, कौन सी डिजाइन बिक रही है, कौन से टाइम पे माल बिक रहा है, सुबह बिक रहा है, दिन में बिक रहा है, रात को बिक रहा है, मोबाइल वाला कस्टमर ले रहा है या डेस्कटॉप वाला ले रहा है, आईफोन वाला ले रहा है या एंड्रॉइड वाला ले रहा है. सो देर इज लॉट ऑफ एनालिसिस. सो इफ numbers do not intimidate you, then you can definitely jump into e-commerce.
Okay, here's a word to all the audience. Numbers do not intimidate you. Doesn't mean कि अगर मुझे नंबर से डर लगता है मैं ई-कॉमर्स में नहीं जाऊं. That might not be the right way to look at this. That's wrong critical reasoning. Okay, for example, let me tell everyone here, especially the ones who are still younger, who are afraid of math, afraid of numbers, right? Please understand that कोई भी बिजनेस में जाओगे, कोई भी फंक्शन में जाओगे, मार्केटिंग हो, सेल्स हो, एचआर हो, फाइनेंस हो, numbers are going to be important. Basic math is going to be important. You can't run away from it. And now we are in an age, like we said, if we cannot avoid e-commerce, we cannot avoid analytics. We can't avoid numbers. We can't, because otherwise you will, let's connect what Rohit said. Okay, there's a consumer behavior angle that you need to understand. Understanding consumer behavior. How do you understand consumer behavior? A lot of it will be numbers. Numbers will talk to you. So if numbers can talk to you, you can be more insightful or perceptive at what the consumer really wants, right? So I think
Yes.
these two are very very closely connected, more than we can think. And I'm sure Rohit's business, my business, any other business, we are using data in a huge manner. Am I right, Rohit? So you
Yes,
can't
yes,
run away from
definitely.
that. Okay, so I think we've entered the question that I was going to ask you next. The next question, Rohit, I had for you is, what is the stack of skills, as we say today, skill stack, right? That is required to be good at e-commerce or grow at in the business of e-commerce. So one of the things you already two of the things you already mentioned. One is you should be perceptive enough to get the consumers trends, right? What's happening in
Yes.
the consumer's mind, right? And the second thing that you talked about is being able to play with numbers, understand numbers, be perceptive there. These two are given. Anything more?
Uh, Apart from that, I would say that uh, पहले के जमाने में बोलते थे कि मास्टर ऑफ नन एंड देयर वाज अ सेइंग राइट दैट
Jack
यू
of
नो
all, master of
जैक
one, and
या जैक ऑफ ऑल
ऐसा कुछ.
मास्टर ऑफ नन बट
हाँ.
आई वुड से ई कॉमर्स इज थोड़ा सा उल्टा यहाँ पे every team member of ours is probably dealing with analysis also, marketing also, operations also, thoda bahut finance. So my sales managers will have to make monthly P&L sheets for their channels, right? तो अब
Right.
सेल्स वाला नहीं बोल सकता मैं फाइनेंस नहीं जानता, ठीक है? अ,
Okay.
मेरे फाइनेंस वाले को मेरा लॉजिस्टिक और ऑपरेशन पता होना चाहिए वो कॉस्ट ऑप्टिमाइज करने के लिए. मेरे मार्केटिंग वाले को कहीं ना कहीं मेरे फाइनेंस पता होने चाहिए कि उसके पास क्या बजट आ सकता है या उसका मार्केटिंग कैसे इम्पैक्ट करता है बैलेंस शीट को. सो आई वुड से दैट समथिंग आई मीन few things of every sector if you gain during your MBA, uh, you are good to go for e-commerce and you will be valued. uh,
Okay.
versus स्पेशलिस्ट की जो बोलेगा कि मैं सिर्फ मेरे को ई कॉमर्स में सेल्स आता है, मेरे को सिर्फ लॉजिस्टिक्स आता है, वहां पे लिमिटेशन आ जाती है थोड़ी सी अर्लियर स्टेज में.
Growth.
ग्रोथ की अर्ली स्टेज में.
अच्छा, earlier stage में.
या
Okay.
एट द लेटर एज यू रिक्वायर
Okay.
एक्सपर्ट्स. सो आई वुड नीड ऑपरेशंस हेड who would have 20 years of experience. बट जो मैं यंगस्टर्स लेता हूँ उनसे एक्सपेक्ट करता हूँ कि उनको थोड़ा बहुत सब कुछ आ रहा.
वेरी ब्यूटीफुली सेड एक्चुअली. मैं रोकूंगा एक सेकंड के लिए आपको. So there's a lot of perception out there, especially in the Gen Zs, right? I keep meeting them all the time because they are my students, right? So Gen Zs have this in mind कि मुझे पहले सर एक चीज करनी है, फिर मैं स्पेशलिस्ट बनूंगा, फिर जाके कुछ और करूंगा. बट इन द अर्ली स्टेज यू हैव टू लर्न एवरीथिंग एंड ट्राई टू बी एवरीवेयर. आपका काम तो
यस
है ही, बट तुम्हें आसपास का नॉलेज नहीं होगा तो यू कैन नॉट मेक इट लाइक वी से. उसको किसी चीज को सिंथेसाइज भी करना है. तुम्हें सिर्फ एक चीज पकड़ के नहीं बैठ जाना है कि उसके ये यही करूंगा मैं. सो आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट यू आर आल्सो ट्राइंग टू से, एंड आई थिंक
यस
दैट इज व्हाट द जेंजीज आल्सो नीड टू sort of incorporate in
यस
their
यस
mind.
Completely, completely. You should be
Great.
aware of different things, different business angles. You should be able to understand business in totality, right? ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि मैं सिर्फ मार्केटिंग करता हूँ, मुझे प्रोडक्ट से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, मुझे किसी और चीज से लेना देना नहीं है. बिकॉज ई कॉमर्स इज अ वेरी डायनेमिक फील्ड. योर वन डिसीजन टुडे मॉर्निंग कैन इम्पैक्ट द एंटायर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बाय द इवनिंग. इट इज दैट डायनेमिक.
Wow.
ठीक है.
Yeah, it's a fast business.
So if
ठीक
you
है.
are not someone who is not bringing that skill set कि आप माइंडफुल हो कि इसका फाइनेंस पे क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा, इसके मेरे ऑपरेशंस पे क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा, तो कहीं ना कहीं ग्रोथ लिमिटेशन हो जाता है जब आप स्पेशलिस्ट बनने जाते हो स्टार्टिंग में. आगे जाके आप स्पेशलिस्ट बनो, दैट इज ग्रेट.
Right. All right. Great. um Before I go ahead, let me no, okay. I'll ask my question first and then go to the audience's question later. So, क्या MBA मैनेजमेंट एजुकेशन रेलेवेंट है ई कॉमर्स में घुसने के लिए या ग्रो करने के लिए? इज इट रेलेवेंट, और इफ इट इज, हाउ इज इट रेलेवेंट?
ओ डेफिनेटली डेफिनेटली. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज सजील, जब हम ग्रेजुएशन कर रहे होते हैं तो हमारा फोकस होता है सारे सब्जेक्ट्स खत्म करने पे, थियोरेटिकल नॉलेज लेने में. ठीक है.
राइट.
मैं अपने टाइम की बात कर रहा हूँ, आज के टाइम क्या चल रहा है मुझे ज्यादा आइडिया नहीं, बट वुड नॉट बी वेरी मच डिफरेंट, राइट?
वोंट बी.
प्लस दोज आर the years, first years or early years of adulthood. So we are also engaged in lot of different activities than studies, right? So ठीक है हम ग्रेजुएशन
मोर
कर
ऑफन देन
लेते हैं.
नॉट. मोर
Yes,
ऑफन देन नॉट.
yes. तो हम एक ग्रेजुएशन कर लेते हैं, कोई बीटेक कर लिया, किसी ने बीए कर लिया, किसी ने बीएससी कर लिया, बट 90% of the times we are not ready to go into the corporate world because हमने धंधा कैसे चलता है वो नहीं समझा है। अ, हमने दुनियादारी कैसे चलती है वो नहीं समझी। अभी तक हम सिर्फ फ्रेंड्स के साथ ही घूम रहे हैं। और जनरली ग्रेजुएशन आपके एक लोकल एरिया में होता है। मैं मुंबई में हूँ तो थाने में रहता हूँ, तो थाने की मोस्ट ऑफ द कॉलेज में मैं पढ़ रहा हूँगा 70-80% ऑफ द टाइम्स, और वहीं के स्टूडेंट्स होंगे। तो आपका एक पर्सपेक्टिव भी बहुत नैरो रहता है।
Hmm.
हाउ एमबीए हेल्प्स इज, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, अ ग्रेट पीयर ग्रुप यू गेट। Students from across the nation comes, right? Few from IITs, NITs, कोई लेडी श्रीराम कॉलेज से होगा, कोई स्टीफन से होगा, कोई जेवियर से होगा, कोई कहीं से होगा। All of them get together at a single place. There cannot be any greater learning than this for two
Right.
years, right? Secondly, MBA is all about case studies and projects, where you are given different case studies, different projects, where you do that in a group. So जैसे मैंने बोला कि एक केस स्टडी में सारे एंगल्स कवर करने होते हैं बिजनेस के, तो आप वो सीखते हो। आपने जो थियोरेटिकल पढ़ा है ग्रेजुएशन में वो ठीक है, बट यहाँ आप रियल लाइफ प्रॉब्लम्स को समझते हो एमबीए में, और अपना ओपिनियन रखते हो कि ये इस तरह से सॉल्व हो सकता है। सही है गलत है
Correct.
उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, बट आप सोचना शुरू करते हो कि
Right.
रियल लाइफ बिजनेस प्रॉब्लम कैसे सॉल्व हो सकती है, राइट? सो दैट्स दैट्स हाउ एमबीए हेल्प्स। एंड if I talk about myself, because I made a good peer group at MDI, मेरा first B2B contract of urban space was through my peer group. My friend was working in Flipkart. I called him up कि यार मुझे Flipkart से कुछ business करना है. He connected me to a right guy, and for the next 3-4 years, I would have done 50-60 crore of business with Flipkart. So just
Wow.
a one
Okay.
connection. This sort of connections generally graduation में नहीं होते हैं, right? So that is one. Second is, जो हम ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट्स की बात करते हैं, तो a collaborative approach, whether you start your own, whether you go for MNC, whether you go for startup, you are expected कि आप बैठ के प्रॉब्लम डिस्कस करोगे। तो टुडे आई, when whatever comes, it is generally that I will sit with 4 or 5 of my team members, discuss it out, hear everyone, and then find a solution, right?
Hmm.
So that you
Hmm. Hmm.
learn. आप बाकी सब्जेक्ट सीखोगे वो तो है ही, मतलब मार्केटिंग सीखोगे, स्ट्रैटेजी सीखोगे, ऑपरेशन सीखोगे। सो या, एमबीए हेल्प्स ग्रेटली।
Great. I think that was absolutely insightful. It definitely corroborated what I thought. But see, when students see it coming from people like you who've been successful in business, it matters. वो होता है ना, माँ बाप वही बोलते हैं लेकिन कोई और बोलता है तो फर्क पड़ता है. So that's what happened with it. Thank you so much, Rohit. A couple of questions now we can take. So I think this was a very insightful discussion. We'll take a few questions before we call it a day. What is the typical career progression in e-commerce roles? As in, the student is asking, what can I expect in the first 5-10 years of working in e-commerce? What do I expect in terms of progression? I think progression से ही thought शुरू कर रहा है, लेकिन कोई बात नहीं, we all want to grow. So it's a valid question there.
Sure. So when you start, uh, you, and I'm talking mostly, let's say you start in the corporate office of a startup or an e-commerce startup and not towards the operations. Okay. So uh, you start as someone who would start listing. So if I have to list my bed sheet, I have to show to the customers, I will have to list it. Now there are some technicalities of listing. So for the first, the entry stages, you will start listing the products. Okay. That is the first. Then slowly after a year or two, you will be said, or you will be told to analyze the sales. Okay. कि क्या हो रहा है, क्या नहीं हो रहा है. Probably after 2 years, you will become, let's say, a junior e-commerce manager, where you will be handling a smaller marketplace for a brand. Let's say for Amazon, for us, would be 10, and Nika for me would be 1. So to a junior person, we will give Nika, right? So you will,
Start with.
yeah. So for a year or two, you will be into e-commerce sales and operations, where you will learn how to market your products, how to show your products, right? So this is like
Right.
typically till 4 years of your career, 4 to 5 years, you will become a junior e-commerce manager. At that point, if you have enough gained enough learning, you will become a e-commerce manager where you will be given a bigger role in sales. So let's say Mintra for me is 5. So I will give you Mintra because it's important for me, right? So there the negotiation skills are more, the sales skills are more, the analysis skills are more, the budget you will have for marketing would be more, right? Then you become senior sales manager. Uh, then you become strategist, someone who would analyze things for a brand and allocate resources, right? You will become that. And
Okay.
probably after 8, 10 years, you will become e-commerce head, where if today I decide that I want to take a back step and I want someone else to take over the entire operation, or daily operations of e-commerce, I would require an e-commerce head. Someone
Mm. You're right.
typically 8 to 10 years of experience from a good B school is the right candidate for an e-commerce head for me. So this is a typical
Okay.
career path.
Great. Okay. Fair. Uh, Great. So, Rohit, I think that was the thing. We enjoyed talking to you a lot. I'm sure the students enjoyed a lot. Before we end, what is your last sort of what do you want to say to the students, to the listeners, viewers?
Uh, I might sound like cribbing or something like that, but to the kids out there, uh, the one thing which you will need in your career is a right intent and right attitude. Uh, this generation, including mine, we have lot of facilities, lot of privilege. हमारे पास मोस्टली सब कुछ है. सो पर जो मिसिंग होता है, difference between a great person and a good person is generally the intent and attitude. And I guess an MBA is a place where you learn this. You will
Right.
see a lot of good, great people coming from IITs and IITs. You will see very strong intent. मतलब वो उनका आईआईटी जेई में बहुत अच्छा रैंक होगा, फिर भी एमबीए में आके भी वो उतना ही मेहनत कर रहे हैं. दैट इज कॉल्ड एटीट्यूड, राइट? एटीट्यूड वो नहीं है कि मैं किसी से बात ना करूं. दैट इज नॉट एटीट्यूड. एटीट्यूड, ठीक है?
Not being snobbish. That's not attitude. Yeah.
या राइट. सो द इंटेंट एंड एटीट्यूड really will differentiate you from others. And skills can be learnt, but these things which you learn probably in your post graduation stays with you to the entire your lifetime. So please keep a good intent and attitude, and I'm sure with career launcher you guys are going to do great. I have no doubt. I know Sazil personally, a great educationist, a great mentor. So you guys are in the right hands, and I would wish all of you best of luck.
Thank you so much, Rohit. So this was a wonderful talking to you. We've talked outside, but on screen, it was fun. So thank you so
Same here.
much for being
Same
here.
here.
And students, let me give you one small message before we leave. Next, I don't want to commit a date, but very soon, in a week or so, we'll be coming up with our second in the series of this podcast, where most probably we'll be talking about product management. So let me get back to you. Keep watching this space, and see you till then. Goodbye, bye, Rohit. Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.